I'm content creator and spiritual teacher Sally Estlin. I'm dedicated to empower entrepreneurs by sharing practices, tools, resources, and more on my show, Spiritual Teachings with Sally. Hi everyone, yes, I'm Sally Estlin and I am content creator and spiritual teacher, and I'm also the founder of Empower Clothing. I share practical tools, tips and resources to empower entrepreneurs. And you can learn more about my fashion products and services at empowerclothing.com.au. So before I bring up my special guest today, I thought I'd just bring in around my clothing around the empowerment, the solar plexus chakra. It's about stepping into your power. And these are made from bamboo. They feel so beautiful on, they're amazing, but this clothing takes it a whole other level where you're being empowered by what you're wearing. So the one that you can see on the screen here is the bamboo racerback and the long sleeve one. And with each of the tops, you get a little crystal. This one comes with the tiger eye crystal, which assists in boosting your self-confidence, enhancing personal power, and promoting a sense of courage and determination. You get a little card that helps you wear your little, understand your outfit. If you look at all the beautiful colors on the screen, it's just popping with the color. Everything is energy. Color is energy. And when you combine that with powerful affirmations, healing properties of crystals, you're just going to amplify your intentions and your energy. So there we go. That's a little bit about the Empowered Clothing range. Reach out more. As we said, it's at empoweredclothing.com.au. So today our topic is, let me bring it up here, how to use autism as your strength with Autism Negotiator, Catherine Hurd. So before I bring up Kat, let me just introduce her with a short little bio. Kat was diagnosed with autism 28 years ago, and she's made it her mission to help others in the autism world to learn how to manage their condition. She's helped families and friends of autistic people better understand autism and the associated conditions, and how to get inside the bubble and understand and connect with their loved ones. She's worked with Transforming Autism for 4 years, which provides early intervention for families with young autistic children. They're an amazing resource. Recently, she started working with Autism Bucks, a region-specific charity which works with all ages and with various degrees of not only autism but associated conditions and areas of life. So without further ado, let's bring up Catherine Hurd. Woo-hoo-hoo. Welcome to Spiritual Teachings with Sally. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Sally.
So today you've brought along an empowerment share, and that is that you were born autistic and your first 12 to 15 years were exceptionally challenging, discovering who you were and how to fit in. You went through a phase where you accepted your conditions and supported assistance, but didn't want to be associated with any autistic groups or TV shows, etc. But then one day something clicked and you changed and wanted to support the community both at home and away, and it was the best decision you made. Would you like to share a little bit more about your journey?
Yeah, so for me, 12 is kind of late to be diagnosed. Obviously, you can get diagnosed a lot later than that, but it means that school was a challenge, shall we say.
Mm.
And my mom, she was forever being called up at the school. They were going, she can't sit still. She keeps falling off chairs, and, she talks when she doesn't need to talk. And there seems to be varying issues.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 12, I was diagnosed with depression and autism on the same day. And it suddenly made everything make sense. So there was a reason I was doing all these things. There was a reason that I would say strange things and I would behave oddly. It wasn't just I was weird, as all the kids would tell you. It was just one of those things that, it just kind of happens. But I'm sure you'll know, because there'll be a number of people in your audience that will have their own varying medical challenges.
Mm-hmm.
You do eventually get used to it. The more you read about it, the more you think about it, it becomes easier for you to adapt to. When required, you kind of hide it or mask it from people, and you find a way of learning with it and actually becoming involved with it. And it took me a long time. So I was probably in my mid-20s by the time I decided that, okay, yes, I have autism. Yes, I have these challenges, but actually it's something I can work with. And it's not bad. I mean, I hadn't thought my autism was bad and I hadn't not told people and I hadn't not asked for help. But it was something that I would tell people because I needed the help. I wasn't telling people because I was proud to call myself autistic or I thought it was a superpower. It was just a thing. But from my mid-20s, it became something that's actually like, do you know what? I can actually use this to my best ability. Because, you know, I've got a photographic memory. I can remember things. I have a set way of doing things that gets things done quickly and efficiently. And it was just finding out what worked in my life that helped me adapt to do what I needed to do that other people couldn't do. So when people would say, you know, why were you so slow? Why were you stupid? Why did you never get anything? You go, well, actually, yeah, I have those issues, but I have a whole host of things I can do that you can't do.
I love this because it's not about the label. It's just understanding how to communicate and connect. And it's just, you know, I've got a son who's got ADHD, and it's just understanding how to communicate in the language that he, you know, can connect with and get it. Because as you said, it is a superpower. Like this, you know, it's such a gift in many ways with your strengths. And I know I've known you for a while now, but you know what you do is you combine left brain and right brain stuff. You're a computer wizard, but at the same time you're a social media marketing person, and you're being creative and also technical at the same time. And you're incredible using both sides of the brain. You know, that is a massive gift. And I think it's just, you know, in communities these days, particularly in schooling, they're a bit slow to catch up, right? Autism is ahead of the curve and schools aren't ready for it, even now. You know, my son has still got trauma from finishing school because the pressure and everything didn't suit the way that he learnt and the way that he operates. And I think, you know, and that's the title of today, how to use autism as your strength, because it's working with your gifts and navigating your way forward. But as a community, we need to be more understanding, I think, of individual differences, because everybody's different, right? And we all have our unique gifts. But when you're a square peg in a round hole in sort of standard society, like schools, for example, but it would have been just really tricky for you, you know, especially when you were like 12, when you were diagnosed then, and then, you know, trying to navigate school, and then you went to uni. Like, I could only imagine the meltdowns that you were having just trying to navigate the system at uni and the pressure and everything else. Like, how tricky was that?
I think it's one of those things that at first it is very overwhelming, but you learn what works for you. So I had both in college, even in school, and in uni, you have particular teachers or lecturers that they have an awareness or an understanding. So they know somebody that's close to them that is not necessarily autistic, but they're neurodiverse in some way. So when you approach them and you ask for help, whether you're asking for extension, whether you're asking for a rephrase and how to do something, or you just need to talk something through, they get it. And they're more than happy to help. So it means that there are certain areas that you will always thrive in because you have people that will support you. They're not looking at you as a label. They're looking at you as an individual person who needs a little bit of extra help. So they're happy to give you it. The problem you find is the people that don't have much experience with it, or the people that have had experience that they've not handled very well, you become a label. And the one thing you cannot do is label everybody the same. So, for example, when I was at college, there was two people in my class. It was myself and a girl named Jenny. We were both autistic. We were similar ages. We were similar heights. We had similar color hair. But we didn't have the same name. and we didn't have the same needs.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one particular class that I needed a lot of extra help with. And I'd gone through the appropriate channels to get it, and I never got the additional help.
Mm.
Yet Jenny, who didn't need help, she was always getting help. And the reason was the teacher or the lecturer had assumed we were the same person.
Oh.
So all the extra help that I had set up was going to Jenny when she didn't need it. But
Oh.
Jenny she wasn't vocal enough to say, actually, it's not me that needs it. So she ended up passing the module because she got help, and I ended up failing it because I didn't. And this is the problem, is you can't assume people are the same. And just because it doesn't matter whether they're ADHD, dyslexic, whatever, they don't have the same needs. One person might need something, somebody else might need something different. So it's breaking the barrier of the label. And this is the problem, is people are not looking beyond the labels. But we don't turn around. I mean, we don't do that with any other medical condition. We don't turn around and say, oh, so-and-so's got cancer. We can't talk to them. We can't help them. We can't do anything. We treat them as a normal person.
It's coming back to fear of the unknown, right?
Absolutely.
And I saw it with my son in schooling, and you think in this day and age, there's so many neurodiverse kids or people, and we just don't have the supports in place. And I commend you for navigating to where you are today, and for sharing your story as well, because you've been through the ups and downs, and as you say, being misunderstood because it's not understanding it at your level, with this unknown sort of, when you're boxed and labeled, it makes it very different to when you're getting down and understanding your individual differences. So today you've actually brought along, and I just think, it's time now to talk about this sort of stuff and build up the awareness. And I think that's why you describe yourself as an autism negotiator. I think that's title, Kat. It's fantastic. And this links in so much with your expert tip that you brought along today. It's a Dr. Seuss quote: why fit in when you can stand out? Being different is okay. Like, that just sums it all up. And, that would have been quite consoling for you to have that, even through, a little kid's book, and just go, oh my gosh, that's so true. That's so true. And, and I can see why you're dedicated and passionate in helping people understand, and working with these organisations these days to help people navigate through life, and helping parents understand as well, because I think that's where I needed some help, because not understanding until very late age that my son was diagnosed, and always thinking, but he's not like the other three, and it's just like, it just, nothing was making sense. And then when he was literally diagnosed, then I could understand him better, right?
I think that there seems to be some attitude, and it's never sat right with me. Parents will go to see a healthcare professional or an educational psychologist, a teacher, and they'll say, my child's experiencing difficulties with this. They may have a potential label, they may not. And the problem is they're always told, it's just you're paranoid. And it's one of those things where, as a parent, you are wronged for noticing that your child is different. And the problem is 95% of the time, the parent is 100% accurate. You spend all day, every day with your child. You will know if your child is different. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And I know a lot of people are against the labeling, because it can be detrimental. But the problem is that in the 21st century, that label is what opens the doors to get you the help and support that they need. And it's bad, but you need to get that help, because why would you want them to struggle? You don't. You want the best for your child. Every child has a potential. So in order to reach that potential, you have to get that diagnosis. You don't have to tell the world about it, but you tell the academic professionals, the medical professionals, to get the help and support you need. And then when the child is old enough, it's up to them. Do they tell their friends? Do they tell their employer? Whatever. because they'll know at that point what it is they need. But you need that diagnosis to really support anything, whether you're a little kid that's 2 years old, or whether you're an adult that's in your 80s. I would still recommend that you got that diagnosis, because it enables you to understand yourself. And I think
Absolutely.
the problem is people don't. If you don't understand yourself, how can you expect anybody else to understand you? You have to have a rough idea.
Yeah. And, and it is turning, once you have that understanding, finding your strengths within that. And that's what my son's navigating through now. It's the system is flawed, schooling system in particular, with the support system, and it's very, very, very slow to catch up. And everybody's different, right? But there's so many more neurodiverse these days. So there's a lot of catching up to be done. Let's just put it that way.
I think the other thing to consider, Sally, is that it is very rare, and I mean very rare, for any neurodiverse person to have one singular neurodiverse condition. It is usually associated with something else, whether you've got ADHD and dyslexia, whether you've got dyscalculia and depression. There is usually more than one thing. That's not a bad thing, but you've got to remember that it's like doing an obstacle race. You tackle one obstacle at a time. You can't possibly go, oh, my child's got 5 conditions, they'll just get on with it. They've got to work through what works for each individual condition. And there'll be days where everything will flare up. If one condition set off, the next one set off, and so on, like dominoes. But then you've got to find a way of balancing all that. It takes time. You are going to get grumpiness. You are going to get people having temper tantrums and maybe using a bit of language. But you've got to kind of just keep loving people and allowing them to learn and develop into the best them they can be.
You just knocked the nail on the head. Just smother people with love. That's what I do with my son. It's just love all the way. And that just leads into my empowerment share, that autism isn't a disability. It's just a different way of thinking, right? It's just working with people on speaking the same language, let's put it that way. And my tip today is embrace your unique perspective on life, because autism is a superpower. It absolutely is a superpower. Gifts, like you were gifted beyond understanding. When people get to know you, when you tap into your strengths, it's a whole other level. It's like on steroids, right? It's incredible. But unfortunately, we're coming down towards the end of the show today. But what we do every week is we pick a card. So, I do Bling Angel intuitive card readings, and today I'm getting the inspiration deck. So I'm going to pull a card and let's just see what it says today, Kat. So this one says, what someone thinks of you is none of your business. How appropriate is that? What someone thinks of you is none of your business. Everyone's got judgments and whatever. Let that go. Let them keep it to themselves, projecting their own stuff. So now I've got up here, people can contact you. Your business is called Purple Panda Creative Marketing. So can contact you, Purple Panda Creative Marketing at gmail.com, or on socials under that name, Purple Panda Creative Marketing. And absolutely reach out to Kat. Not only is she, an autism negotiator, she's also a social media whiz with marketing and computer stuff. So algorithms, backends, all that sort of stuff. Kat deals with that as well. So thank you, Kat, for coming on Spiritual Teachings with Sally. I'm looking forward to, catching up down the track and see what's evolving. And maybe next time we have a conversation, it'll be completely 360, like all these systems and processes are in place and the world's changed. Like, wouldn't that be a gift?
Wishful thinking, Sally.
Well, look, I always stay positive. I'll drop you down into the green room and I'll just close up here. So once again, thank you for joining us, Kat. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
So, well, wasn't that amazing? You can join me for, I just love chatting with Kat. She just gives me so many insights. But you can join me for another episode of Spiritual Teachings with Sally next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Central, and Thursday, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And until then, stay stable and, always remember to have some fun in your days. So let me just bring up the little exit and we'll see you again next time. Okay, see you later. You can learn more about my services and products at sallyeslin.com. Make sure to join me every week for a new episode on the Superstar Entrepreneurs YouTube channel.